Call to the Honourable the Deputy Leader of the Opposition.
My question is to the Prime Minister. Australians are poorer than they were 2 years ago. The cash rate, which this dismal Prime Minister couldn't even name during the campaign, has gone from 0.35% to 4.35%. Real disposable incomes have fallen. Soaring energy prices are hurting families, and businesses are being crippled by huge cost increases. Why are Australians paying the price for the weak economic leadership of this Prime Minister?
Before the Prime Minister answers, I just want to remind all members about the importance of language being used during questions and answers. The Prime Minister has the call.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. I thank the member for her question, and she gets a bonus point for asking a question about the economy on budget day, so I'll give that. But the truth is that the member opposite raises a range of issues. One is inflation and interest rates. Now, inflation was twice what it was, what it is now, when they were in office. Inflation peaked at 2.1% in the March 2022 quarter, in just a quarter, whereas now inflation is at 3.6% on an annual basis, which is lower than the 3.75%, which is what was predicted in my EFO. You would think that when inflation was peaking, what there should be is a responsible budget. But instead, we got dollars flowing out everywhere that ended the big cash splash in the lead-up to the May 2022 election that made things worse.
Order. The Prime Minister will pause. The member for Groom knows he's on a warning, so that means in future write down "I'm on a warning" so you don't forget. So the member for Groom can leave the chamber. So if you're on a warning, chances are, if you interject, you're not going to be here. Prime Minister has the call.
Thank you. The unemployment rate, of course, is lower than it was under those opposite. Employment is higher. The participation rate is higher. The gender pay gap is lower. There are more women employed full-time. There are more manufacturing jobs. There are less long-term unemployed. Industrial disputes are down, in spite of what they said, and wages are up. Wages up, inflation moderating. That is what is occurring. That is what is occurring. And those opposite, of course, in that last budget that they handed down, the number of saves is a really round figure of 0. They provided no saves whatsoever. They just splashed money, as they did with waste when they were in government. Remember the $20 billion in JobKeeper payments that went to companies that were increasing their profits. They weren't going down, they were going up. They were going up. Remember the $5.5 billion on the French subcontract without delivering a single vessel and destroying our relationship with our ally there. Remember blowing out the cost of the inferior copper NBN by $29 billion. Then there's the Inland Rail project. They said they were going to build it and finish it for $4.7 billion. The cost of $31 billion without going anywhere. They spent $5 billion on contractors and consultants. We're getting on the job,
Order.
on with the job
Prime Minister's
of
time
good,
has
responsible
concluded.